What's up guys, it's your girl FrumpyFit. If you don't know who I am, I'm an online weight loss coach who's dedicated to calling out all the BS in the fitness industry and providing you with accurate fitness, nutrition, and weight loss information. Today we're reacting to a video called Weight Reduction Through Diet from 1951. And I got this idea because I posted a question box on my Instagram story asking for ideas from my followers. And so thank you for the recommendation here. I also got a response from Emily. So Emily, I just want to let you know you look beautiful today. And other than that, let's jump into the video. I'm super excited to hear about how people were talking about weight loss and dieting in the 1950s. I have a feeling some of it's going to be pretty bad. Hi, sorry, one more thing before we get started. This video is sponsored by Built Bar, my new favorite protein bar. Oh my gosh, they're so good. I've been telling everybody about these. I've been getting DMs from you guys who have tried them saying that they are your favorite also. So, these obviously taste amazing, but what I want to highlight is their texture. The texture is like nothing I could have ever imagined in a protein bar. It really does taste more like a candy bar than a protein bar, which is crazy because there's 17 grams of protein in here for only 130 calories. And so the way that I would describe the texture is like when you get a box of chocolates, you know, each of them have like a different filling. It's like the one that you hope to get, at least for me. It's like super chewy and gooey on the inside. It's so freaking good. So if you guys want to try them, I do have a discount code and you can use the link in the description for 20% off your order. I can't wait for you guys to try them. They're my go-to. They're so good. So anyway, thank you Built for sponsoring this video. This is gonna be so interesting.
The dangers to health resulting from overweight have been shown convincingly by life insurance records. Life expectancy decreases as the amount of overweight increases. Excessive calorie intake is the cause of overweight. Consumption of calories in excess of body needs is the single most extensive nutritional problem affecting public health in this country. People should be informed that overweight is preventable. They should be given nutritional information which will help them to maintain their ideal weight throughout life.
Ooh, interesting. So they were saying it's convincingly shown that being overweight is bad for health based off of life insurance records. That's interesting. I would love for like Dr. Mike to react to this, or some doctor either react to this or a video that's more focused on talking about how weight impacts health, because I think the opinions have changed a lot. I mean, they're still changing because it is possible to be overweight and to still be healthy. I think we used to look at it so black and white, but now I think it's a lot more nuanced and there's a lot more gray area. So that's interesting, but I'm super happy to see that they're talking about calories. Might not be as bad as I was expecting it to be. I don't know. Let's keep watching. National Dairy Council. Interesting. So theatrical. I love it.
Unwanted pounds creep on so easily in this motorized and mechanized age with its labor-saving devices. Although machines do much of the physical work for us today, family eating customs entice many adults to go on eating as much as they did when they were more active.
They should see us now. It's interesting that they mentioned already they're eating the same amount as when they used to be more active. And right, you know, they're just talking about, I think, like working. And there used to be a lot more physical labor involved with people who went to work. And so they're mentioning calories, and then they're also already addressing that if your lifestyle changes in a way that makes you less active, you're gonna have to adjust your diet accordingly. Otherwise, you will see some fluctuations or changes in your weight. But yeah, I want this narrator to look at us now, and I would love to hear his opinion if they thought back then things were motorized, and I can't remember what other word he used.
Business meetings and obligations frequently include sizable meals for men and women whose work may require little physical effort, while women at home find tempting between-meal refreshments customary at many social and civic affairs. Is it strange then that many people today are longing to be as slender as they once were? Sometimes loneliness, disappointment, or sheer boredom tempt young and old alike to indulge in food to the point where eating replaces other normal activities, often with consequences particularly sad for the young, for many of the natural joys of youth may slip away from the too fat.
What did he say? That natural joys of youth may slip away from the too fat? These are the kind of statements that I was expecting to see in this video. But it's really interesting the way that they're framing this, because I see a lot of times nowadays, like, obesity and being overweight is blamed on food. And in this video, they're blaming it on like lifestyle changes and habits and patterns. And they're taking into consideration like your lifestyle, but also like the way that you feel. They mentioned loneliness. Like, it's really interesting that that's how they're describing the problem, because it's very different than overweight and obesity described today. And I mean, this was a time when I think food processing was really like changing a lot. And food processing is very different now than it was here. And just like the way that our food is manufactured and created and the types of foods, like it's very different. And so in society today, food is so much to blame, but people were having issues with their weight at this point in time when food was very different. So I think it all plays a role together. I'm not saying one thing, like food, the way that food is manufactured now is not to blame at all. Companies literally spend probably millions or at least hundreds of thousands of dollars when they're creating products to make them hyper palatable so that you want to eat them nonstop. So like that does play a role, but it's not, I think a lot of people will just put all of the blame on that. Let's keep watching.
And employers may feel that overweight makes an individual undesirable for certain positions. The stout person, woman or man, finds it difficult to dress attractively.
It's like they're laying the foundation for the way that society treats overweight people today. Like they're literally talking about an employer discriminating against somebody for their weight. Like that's okay. Like there's a common problem for somebody who's overweight can't get a job. Like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So far, this is a roller coaster. I was like super happy about the calorie deficit thing, like talking about calories, and then it's just straight down. There's still 14 minutes to go.
Yes, many people do want to reduce for better appearance and for better health. An increasing number of adults feel the grave concern that comes when the physician tells them that even moderate overweight is dangerous.
Again, I'm not going to comment on that because I'm not like a medical expert, but I think the opinions have changed significantly that being moderately overweight isn't like magically super dangerous to your health. Like you want to look at a bunch of different factors, not just weight when determining health. So I'm not saying that weight doesn't play a role in health. It does, but it shouldn't just be assumed that because somebody is a certain weight, they're automatically super unhealthy.
Is there a practical way to lose unwanted pounds? Scientists, combining their knowledge of nutrition and human nature, are searching for an answer.
I'm interrupting again. He said nutrition and human nature. Like, I love the human nature part. Like, that's such a big deal. Like, I work with clients, like with diet coaching, but so much of what I do with diet coaching clients is more like mindset stuff to just like figure out their preferences and their lifestyle and like what type of plan is going to work for them. Because like it doesn't matter, you can have the perfect plan on paper, like the perfect diet on paper, but it's more to it than just the nutritional science.
At Michigan State College, the problem of weight reduction through diet has been under study for several years by Dr. Margaret Olson, head of the Department of Foods and Nutrition, and her staff. This girl is one of a group of overweight students who have volunteered to take part in one period of a continuing scientific weight control study, research which will benefit others as well as themselves. During the period of the experiment, the girls eat at a diet training table, Their eating habits are closely observed as part of a research program to determine how overweight young women can return to normal weight and stay that way, yet remain happy and healthy.
Diet training table? That sounds like kind of ominous. I wonder if they're going to go into more detail about that. Interesting.
Overweight men and women of various ages, businessmen, housewives, and others, follow the program at home and come to the college for advice. They talk over their weight problems and are given encouragement and practical help. They are shown the importance of knowing how much they eat as well as what they eat. As an essential part of the plan, each overweight person first must have a thorough medical examination. Those in the home groups are examined by family physicians, while the students are examined by physicians of the college health service. Here, under the direction of Dr. Charles F. Holland, a complete physical examination is made. The amount of weight to be lost by each girl is determined. Based on many years' experience with the subject of weight control, Dr. Holland has this to say on reducing.
There is no shortcut to weight reduction. Nearly all obese people can lose weight and feel better by eating less food, but foods of high nutritive value. Few of the people that we examine can blame their excess pounds on glandular trouble. Habitual overeating and wrong eating create this serious problem.
Interesting. So first I want to point out the milk that they're pouring in that B-roll. At the beginning it said it was like, I think this whole thing was funded by like some dairy council. So I'm wondering how many times milk is going to show up in this video. He mentioned eating too much, but also eating non-nutritious foods, or eat less, and the food that you do eat needs to be nutritious, which is nice. Like, he is acknowledging the energy balance part of the equation, but also health, which is important. He also said that like few of the people they study, or whatever he said, can blame their weight on glandular trouble. And so what that compares to nowadays is people who are saying, I can't lose weight because of my hormones. It is true that hormones are an important factor when we're talking about the holistic view of weight loss. But I think what he says is kind of accurate in that the majority of people who are struggling with weight, it's not due to a hormonal problem. It may play a role, but the main factor that is driving the weight gain or lack of weight loss is going to be the calories in, calories out thing. So if you do, like, I have hormone issues. Like, if you have hormone issues, like, I totally feel that. It's such a struggle and it sucks. But there are tons of people nowadays who are blaming their weight on hormones when maybe they shouldn't. And so I'm not saying that nobody should blame it on their hormones, because there are definitely situations like if you have hypothyroidism that isn't under control, that can actually slow down your metabolism, which can make it extremely hard to be in a calorie deficit. It still requires a calorie deficit for weight loss, but if you had your hypothyroidism under control, then your metabolism would increase, making it easier for you to lose weight. So that's like just one example of ways that hormones can play a role in weight loss. But interesting that he mentioned that.
Devising an effective reducing diet is the basic step in any program of weight reduction through diet. Doctors and scientists, applying their knowledge of nutrition, physiology, and human nature, formulate low-calorie diets of everyday foods that give a high return in nutrition and satisfaction. In the research study at Michigan State College, these foods, all high in protein, are represented at every meal in ample servings.
Protein's good.
Dairy foods are included at every meal in this weight reduction diet plan. Milk does more for the reducer than any other one food.
What? That's like, this is a prime example of bias, that it's funded potentially. You know, they mentioned some sort of dairy situation right at the beginning, and then here now in the middle of the video they're saying milk is like the best thing that you can have for somebody who's wanting to reduce their weight. I mean, if you want to drink milk, that's cool, but milk isn't some magical weight loss beverage. I can't believe they said that.
Vegetables. The choice is great, so a reducing diet need not be monotonous. The leafy, bulky kinds permit more and larger servings. Those who are reducing learn to include many vegetables and fruits in their diet. Pleasing combinations may be selected from a wide variety and served in generous amounts every day.
Generous amounts?
Cereal foods continue to appear on the menu in moderate amounts. Now let's see how the diet plan is put into effect for the college group. The first step is to consider how much each girl is overweight. This depends on the build of each individual. Some of these girls have more to lose than others. The amount will determine how long each girl should continue on the diet.
Okay, so to assign an exact number of weight that somebody is supposed to lose, definitely do not agree with that. Typically, I will ask clients what their goal weight is, but I'm pretty happy to hear when somebody doesn't have a goal weight that they're looking to achieve. And the main reason I ask is so that I can calculate their protein, because one of the ways to calculate protein is to use somebody's goal weight rather than their current weight. But I don't think that it's good to get attached to a specific number. And so of course they're operating on the belief that if you're even a little bit over the weight that you're supposed to be, you're super unhealthy. I think a lot of times when you set goals for weight loss, you get so attached to the number that you forget why that number is even your goal. So let's say you have a specific goal weight that you want to reach and you're 2 pounds away from that goal, but you feel better, you love your body, you are healthy, you love the way that you look, you literally check off every box of the reasons why you wanted to lose weight in the first place, but you're not happy because you're 2 pounds away from some number on the scale. That's crazy to me, but I get it. And so I want people to move away from that and stop putting so much value in a number that shows up on the scale. So the fact that they're giving these women exact numbers of weight to lose, I feel like you're losing touch a little bit with the overall reason why you might have the goal of weight loss.
Measurements and a mirror tell the story. As anyone who is overweight knows all too well, excess fat has a way of lodging in spots that spoil the figure. This figure chart shows where excess pounds tend to accumulate. At the diet training table, each girl eats as usual for the
More
first
milk.
2 weeks. But she keeps track of what she eats and how much she eats. Successful reducing is based on knowing, not guessing. As a part of the study, the girls weigh each portion of food they select and write everything down in record books. This procedure serves 2 purposes. The girl learns to judge the weight of portions by size and appearance, and the laboratory staff receives a record of what she is in the habit of eating.
That's interesting. I mean, the way that they phrased whatever it is that they said, it made it seem like you have to track your food in order to get results, and that's not the case. But then in the same breath, they said it helps the women learn how to look at a portion size and know kind of how that serves their diet overall. Of course, I'm paraphrasing again. So I do not believe that everybody needs to count calories to lose weight. I don't. It's the strategy I use with my clients. You probably heard that already. If you want to check out my calculating calories video or calorie deficit video, you can check it out up here. I really, really view calorie tracking as a way to learn about food so that eventually you can stop weighing things, stop tracking things, and be able to look at food like they said and just know whether or not it's going to keep you on track to your goals, or how that meal or that portion size or whatever is going to influence whatever goal you have or impact you in some way. So kind of good, kind of bad, I don't know. If I just don't get from that you have to track your food. And I like that they're writing things down. Of course, at this point in time, they didn't have MyFitnessPal or apps to plug stuff in. So they were just relying on pen and paper. And that can be super effective too if you don't want to count your calories. Just being aware of what you're consuming can help with mindful eating, which can result in weight loss, if you're doing it right. So don't feel like you have to count your calories. It's just one tool of many.
This girl is maintaining her present weight on meals similar to this one. Here is the food she has been eating on a typical day.
Look at all that milk.
2,400 calories. This girl has chosen meals characteristic of those eaten by active young women of normal weight. Her meals and between-meal snacks average 2,400 calories a day. But to lose at the desired rate of 1.5 to 2 pounds a week, she will have to adjust her diet to provide substantially fewer calories every day. Here are 3 typical meals from her reducing diet. Looks good, doesn't it? But this food contains only 1,400 calories, 1,000 less than before. Note the breakfast. No skimping here.
So I think they're just using one woman as an example here, and they're not saying that like everyone is getting the same. It's kind of unclear. I don't think everybody is getting the same calorie goal, but I don't really know. 1,000 calories to just cut straight off the bat is a lot, in my opinion. I would not do that. I would decrease calories very slowly. So I would start at like a range of like 250 to 350 of a calorie deficit, and then increase the amount of the deficit that you're in, or decrease calories slowly based on how you respond. There's, in my opinion, like no need really to just like cut it that quick. And exercise is an equal part of the energy equation, right? It's about the calories you consume and the calories you burn. So if this person was exercising frequently already, then maybe it would be kind of okay. But I think if you're wanting to lose weight more quickly and you're not exercising regularly already, that should be a big piece of the puzzle that you start doing, rather than just saying like, oh, I want to lose 2 pounds in a week, so I'm going to cut 1,000 calories just straight off the bat. I think you can use both strategies at the same time of increasing your activity and decreasing your calories, because the fewer calories you consume, the less likely it is that you're going to get all the nutrients that you need throughout the day. I mean, 1,400, it's not like the end of the world, but it is a little bit on the lower side. Like I try to keep clients above 1,400 as often like as possible. I don't think I have any clients who are eating that little, actually. And we're talking about people who are have different starting weights or different heights. Like to me, 1,400 is pretty low.
Fruit juice, 2 eggs, toast, butter, and milk. The girls have found that a substantial breakfast makes a big difference in preventing hunger pangs. For lunch, a generous serving of protein-rich food, in this case, fish salad, a green vegetable with butter, and a glass of milk.
Milk?
Dinner features meat, fruit, milk, and yes, creamed potatoes. Plenty of nourishment. Here's what's on the menu for another day. 1,400 calories. Nutritious food served in appetizing array. There's a new menu for each day of the week, and the menus can be changed for pleasing variety.
The only thing they're not changing is the milk. You have to drink milk no matter what, apparently, on this diet.
Laboratory tests prove that these meals meet the recommended dietary allowances of the Food and Nutrition Board of the National Research Council. This diet satisfies the appetite because it provides more fat than most reducing diets. The scales help too. Weighing need be done only once a week, for those excess pounds do not vanish overnight.
Yeah, so in terms of weighing yourself, this is saying only weigh yourself once a week, which I think is definitely a strategy that you can use. I actually am an advocate of weighing yourself multiple times per week, even every single day. And he's correct. You're not going to see a change in your weight, like in your body fat, like overnight. So there's no reason to look at it to see how much weight you lost or how much fat you lost overnight. But what weighing yourself every day does do is it gets you used to the fact that fluctuations are so normal. Like your weight could be fluctuating like multiple pounds every single day. And so what happens when you weigh yourself once a week, you do run the risk of having like a randomly high day that in your head, you're like, oh my God, I gained weight. But no, if you had been weighing yourself every day of the week, you would see that it's just a fluctuation. So what I prefer, just in terms of like data collection and analyzing progress and results, is the more data points you have, the better. And because it'll help kind of average out all of those fluctuations. But it's also totally okay to weigh yourself once a week as well. I leave it up to my clients if they think that they want to approach the scale weight and learn to look at it as a data point, and they're okay mentally with weighing themselves every day, it can be really freeing to like get used to fluctuations. It puts so much less pressure on seeing an exact number show up on a scale. But at the same time, I know that's not a good strategy for some clients, and so some prefer to weigh themselves once per week, and it works out just fine.
Activities are a part of the reducing program. The girls keep a daily activity record as well as the food record.
The girl in the bottom left is literally just like, that would be me. Interesting. I wonder if this was just for the camera or if this is really like the exercises that they would do. So many interesting ones. We've got like coffin, we've got rolling around the ground, we've got this kind of thing going on, we've got this going on. Movement is movement. And you know what? If you enjoy these types of exercises, I don't know if the bottom left exercise is very efficient, but if you like move however you want to move. I get so many questions saying like, oh, what kind of exercise should I do? What's the best exercise for weight loss? Like all of those things. And pick whatever movement is actually fun and enjoyable for you. That should be what's making up the majority of your workout plan. Of course, if there are exercises, like if you don't enjoy any exercise whatsoever, you're gonna have to get creative and you might just have to suck it up a little bit. But hey, if you think this is enjoyable, go ahead, do that.
Each girl is encouraged to exercise regularly. Just going to and from classes, the girls walk several miles a day. Let's leave the student group now and look in on one of the group who is following the weight reduction program at home. She starts by writing down, as did the girls, the exact amounts and kinds of food she eats. In doing this, the women, and men too, are amazed to discover how much they're in the habit of eating.
Yeah, I think that's true today. We tend to consume a certain amount of food, but then when we think about it, we think we're eating less. And this is reported in studies that people tend to underreport the amount of calories they're consuming even when they're tracking. And they also tend to overestimate the amount of activity that they're doing. So if you've calculated your calories and you're using activity trackers or you're trying to track your movement somehow and the math isn't making sense, it's possible that you're tracking incorrectly or the numbers are just not accurate. Like again, calorie tracking is just a tool. It's not perfect. So try not to get too obsessed with the numbers in any situation. You really just need to like try something, see how your body responds and adjust to that rather than like just relying on something to work with no analysis of results or feedback or changes or anything like that. That's why I love teaching you guys about weight loss so that you can better understand whether or not something is working for you or whether or not something is worth trying.
When the records are brought to the college, members of the home group are given a dietary pattern and taught to select the foods each one needs for weight reduction. The menu pattern, which is the same as that used for the college group, can be used as the basis for planning the family meals. Back at home, measured portions are served for those following the diet plan. The same everyday foods prepared in the usual way are the foundation for the family's meals, and the others in the family can eat as much as usual.
I literally gave this advice like last week in a consultation I was doing. So it was a mom who was trying to figure out how to lose weight while cooking meals for her family. And they eat pretty healthy, but she was still struggling with weight. And so my advice was, no, don't cook yourself separate meals and don't feel like you have to eat something different than your growing children because, growing children typically need a lot more calories than those of us who are already grown. I told her just eat the same exact foods your family's eating, but just be more mindful of your portion sizes than they need to be. That's a huge misconception that I think people think about weight loss is I have to change the foods that I'm eating. When I decide to lose weight and attempt weight loss, I don't change the types of foods that I'm eating. I literally just pay attention to the portion sizes, whether I'm calculating things and tracking things, or if I'm just trying to eat more mindfully. I eat the same exact meals now as I did when I was prepping for my bodybuilding competition. They're just slightly different, but really, when I was prepping for my show, I enjoyed those meals that I was eating so much that I ate them afterwards. I just stopped weighing them out and tracking them. So love that. Super good piece of info right there.
When reducing, most men require more calories than do women. For instance, this man is losing weight on 1,800 calories a day. He did not have much trouble getting the upper hand of his appetite on meals like these. He's found them satisfying. The substantial breakfast is an important part of the plan. It helps to control the appetite for the rest of the day. Variations to fit individual situations may be made when they do not add calories or change the basic plan of the meals. For instance, some people want more butter than others, so they drink skimmed or partially skimmed milk as a part of their reducing diets. Less meat may be used and cheese added to take its place in a meal. Or you can serve less meat, in this case chicken, and add cottage cheese.
I think that that's also really good information and advice. Like, again, it's not about the specific foods. Yes, we want your health to be taken care of, and there are certain foods that are going to be better for you than others, but don't feel like you have to eat a certain way or like to eat the same way somebody else is eating. If you take anything from this section, it should be that your preferences matter. Like, you should pay attention to what types of foods you like. And if you watched my How My Coaching Has Changed Over the Years video, you know that I, as the years have gone on, moved towards more flexibility for clients to accommodate their preferences more, because if you're enjoying your diet, you're way more likely to stick to it. Good piece of information.
We returned to the college about 4 months later to see the results of this program of weight reduction through diet. Sensible weight reduction takes time. Progress is measured in weeks or months, not days. Remember these girls as we saw them during our last visit? Well, here they are about 4 months later. Waistlines are coming back. The girl in the center has regained normal weight with a loss of 32 pounds. Others have lost 32, 27, and 25 pounds and are continuing to lose 1.5 to 2 pounds a week by following the diet. Remember these 4 shorter girls? Those on either end have been down to normal weight for several weeks and are staying that way. One of the girls who did not follow the diet regularly has lost only 16 pounds.
They really called her out. They're like, that girl right there didn't follow the plan, so she didn't lose as much weight. What's interesting, I like the comparison, except that one thing you have to keep in mind when you're looking at transformation photos or videos or things like that is you want to keep the clothing that you're wearing the same. So they changed the clothing, which makes it harder to distinguish whether or not their body looks different because it's a different piece of clothing or if it's because they lost weight. And obviously they're reporting how much weight each person lost, so they did lose weight. But if you were just looking at photos can be manipulated, even videos, like crazy. Actually, I did a post like this on Instagram, I'll put it right here, of a comparison of me before and after. I took these photos like minutes apart. And it's a change in lighting, a change in pose, and a change in clothing. And I literally had somebody reach out to me and say like, hey, we want to feature your transformation on a transformation page or something like that. And I'm like, probably should have read the caption because they very clearly said that these photos were taken 5 minutes apart. Something to keep in mind. I do want to do a video like in depth about transformation photos, but like analyzing progress also, because I think that would be super helpful. But back to the girl who like didn't follow the diet the entire time. It's important to note that she did still lose weight, just not at the same rate as the other women. So when we start a new diet or, you know, whatever, we a lot of times put pressure on ourselves to be 100% perfect all of the time. And you don't have to do that. If you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. You did not ruin your progress. You may have just slowed it down a little tiny bit, like homegirls who they called out in the video. So one of the biggest things that my clients learn when they work with me is that a mistake is not a big deal and not a reason to just like throw in a towel or, you know, if it was a bad meal, give up the rest of the day, or if it was a bad day, give up the rest of the week. There's literally no circumstance where you should like give up because you ruined everything. Like never. Ever.
But the other one has lost 39 pounds in the same period. She has about 25 pounds more to lose. It's a great day when the scales at last seem to shout success. When normal weight returns, along with a new and attractive figure, and new interests and activities. The diet is adjusted to maintain that desirable weight. Weight losses for the home group ranged from 16 to 64 pounds, an average of 2 pounds a week. The individual weight loss graphs show satisfactory progress for each member of the home group.
The principle of weight reduction you have seen demonstrated can be applied effectively by others with excess weight, with, of course, the guidance of a physician. We have shown that a dietary plan for weight reduction can be simple, satisfy the appetite, and bring results in loss of unwanted pounds, in renewed vitality and health, and in eating habits which can be easily adjusted to maintain normal weight.
Yeah, a presentation of a National Dairy Council. We could tell. I wonder how many times milk was in this video. What would be really interesting to see, I wish that they had maybe, I mean, I don't know if they did, but if they had followed up with the people who were in this experiment to see if they kept the weight off and for how long, or if they didn't, because weight loss is one thing, but like being able to not gain it back is another thing. And they did talk about eating habits, and it seemed like they were trying to prepare them to be able to maintain their weight afterwards. But that's something that I see lacking in so many programs, is the person doing the program like doesn't even think about or care about. I mean, maybe care about is a strong way to say that, but like they aren't paying attention to or making decisions in favor of the person maintaining the weight afterwards. It's all about them getting the results right now. That's usually the number one priority. So for me with my coaching, again, if you watch my coaching video, every decision that I make is in service of a client being successful after they're done working with me. That's the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching and for your support as usual. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe here on YouTube. And you can also follow me on TikTok and on Instagram. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.